Hey, this is Mike, and I'm going to be your financial analyst today. No, that's not my real profession, but I like to play the part once in a while. Harley-Davidson just released their Q1 2024 financial results. We're going to take a look at those results, the results from some other major motorcycle manufacturers for the first part of 2024, and see how they compare, what those predictions are, and how it's going to affect the motorcycle industry as a whole, and specifically how this financial quarter has affected Harley-Davidson stock. Now, at the end of Q4 in 2023, I said Harley-Davidson was sandbagging because they predicted sales to be low. Now, you have to bear in mind there's two kinds of sales metrics when we talk about Harley-Davidson's financial updates. First, there's retail sales, and that's what the dealers are reporting. And then there's wholesale shipments, and that is what Harley-Davidson is shipping to the dealerships to sell. Harley-Davidson can control the wholesale shipments. I mean, I don't know why they would, but they could simply choose to not ship as many motorcycles. That's going to keep the wholesale shipment numbers down. That should correspond in some way as a reaction to what retail sales are doing currently or the previous quarter, or what they predicted to do, such as leading into the heavy season, such as riding season, they would want to ship more and have more inventory on the floor, but retain those levels of inventory at a little lower level during the off season, such as late fall, early winter. The big news is retail sales were up 6%, and the wholesale shipments from Harley-Davidson were planned to be at a lower level. Now, the reason for this is they loaded up on shipments in Q4. They actually started shipping the carryover models in December for the 2024 models. That would be all the models that did not get major changes. We're not talking about the new Street Glide and Road Glide with the new styling, but things like the Breakout and the Lowrider ST and the Tri-Glide. Models that are high demand but did not get significant changes actually started shipping last quarter. So they had a lot of extra shipments for 2024 models in Q4 that they've not previously had. That's why they did not plan to ship as much in the first quarter. They withheld some of those shipments because inventory level was already higher than it had been in previous years at this time, because they tried to learn from their mistake in 2023 when they didn't have enough of the high demand models available on the floor for dealers to sell. Now, you can see here in the Q1 results that revenue was down 5%. This is based on their shipments, not retail sales. HDFS, the financing arm, was up 12%. And of course, as always, LiveWire was down 39%. I don't even like to talk about LiveWire. Y'all, if you've been watching the channel for a while, already know how I feel about that subject. My only hope is it's a good tax write-off. With this slide, we get into the retail sales numbers. And we can see North America is up 6%. Worldwide, we're flat due to a decrease in Asia Pacific and Europe. The big news is the US share of the market, 42%. That's up 4% from the previous year, with a 7% increase in the touring models. And this goes back to what I said, that I believe these new touring models were going to sell well. And from all indications I've seen, they have, and this slide backs that up. The question will be, were all the people like me who were waiting for these new models, did the bulk of them go out and buy one in Q1 and then sales are going to level out? Or will the sales continue to be strong through the remainder of the summer? And I hope as people see these and they get to ride them and they become accustomed to the new styling looks, they adopt that as, being okay, it no longer seems to look strange to them, that the popularity and the sales will continue to grow. If we look at the inventory levels, we can see Q1 was up to 69,000 units on the dealer floors. This is a big increase from the 55,000 units they had in the previous year. Again, that's from loading up in Q4 of 2023. Then next we look at the revenue bridge. This is how they determine how their profitability is being split up between mix, price, things like that. And we can see volume is down 7%, and that's because, again, they didn't ship as many motorcycles. Not that retail sales wasn't up. Pricing down 3%, and I believe that's due to a more competitive price offer on the new Street Glide and Road Glide. As I've talked about in previous videos, I think the pricing on the new models is spot on. You get a lot more value than you have in previous years with the new pricing on the new Road Glide and Street Glide. We end up with the total result of a negative 5%. Now, we won't talk about HDFS a lot, but I did find it interesting to look at how much interest expense has gone up over previous years. We're up 21% with $89 million in interest. You know, a lot of dealerships have what they call a floor model, and they pay interest on the models they have on the floor that they have not sold and paid off yet. And interest is killing a lot of the dealers that have those floor models right now as well. Harley-Davidson has big incentives for interest rates on the 2023 touring models, trying to get those off the dealer inventory as well. So they're not making as much money in interest on those particular models due to those promotions right now. We will talk about LiveWire real quick. I thought this was interesting. Here's the financial slide for the LiveWire, and they sold 117 units in Q1 of 2024. That's actually up from 2023 because they've come out with the more affordable S2 models, most recently the Mulholland. Now here is what's affecting stock and why. The guidance. This is their prediction for the remainder of 2024. And they're expecting flat to down 9%, which is what they predicted flat to down at Q4 of 2023, and that's why I said they were sandbagging. We'll see if that holds out as sales continue through the remainder of the year, but this is not a Harley-Davidson problem. This is a motorcycle industry-wide problem, and I'm about to show you why I believe that. So Polaris released their Q1 2024 results as well, and one of the things they talked about in these slides was first quarter on-road was up. Now Polaris has multiple vehicles in the on-road segment. That's not just motorcycles. That includes some utility trucks that are used probably in industrial situations and deliveries and things like that. But they did show that on-road was up. They don't specifically split motorcycles out. Motorcycles are lumped into on-road, so we have to kind of interpret from that. But they do say that they had a share gain in motorcycles specifically, along with marine and off-road vehicles. One of the other things I thought was interesting from the Polaris presentation was the dealer sentiment. This sounds familiar. Frustration over broad industry issues related to margins, flooring interest, inventory, and retail. It doesn't sound like they're particularly happy about anything, does it? Now on this slide, they did call out that there were strong share gains in the mid-sized motorcycle market. I'm sure that's the Scout. And it probably doesn't hurt them at all that Harley-Davidson has discontinued the air-cooled Sportster, and the only Sportster options left now are the water-cooled Nightster and Sportster S versions of the Sportsters, which have not taken off in great popularity, let's just say, as of yet. I'm starting to see a few more of them here and there, but it's not like the old Sportster air-cooled models, and they're not as affordable. So that makes the Scout a more attractive offer for a lot of young new buyers that don't have brand loyalty developed. Retail sales for Indian Motorcycle, they said were up low teens. That may sound like a lot. Low teens sounds good. But again, remember, the lower your volume is, the easier it is to go up in a percentage. Meaning if you only sell 100 motorcycles, you only have to sell 10 to go up 10%. When you sell 1,000, you have to sell 100 to go up 10%. So percents are, look great on statistics like this, but they don't really give us an accurate number of how much unit sales went up. And that's one thing I'd like to see more from Polaris is unit sales. Now, this is the interesting part for Polaris, the guidance. They predict for on-road to be down single digits in the end of 2024. The outlook and assumption says ship volume lower due to retail outlook. So again, buyers aren't buying, so they're going to not ship as much. That's their prediction for 2024. That is from Polaris, the makers of the Indian motorcycle line. Now let's talk about Honda. I mean, this is the big dog. We may not think of Honda as being the big dog here in the US, with Harley-Davidson having the majority of the motorcycle share for the touring models and big cruisers, but globally, Honda is by far the biggest player in the motorcycle market. Now, when you look at North America's 2024 results, because Honda's 2024 year ended March 31st of 2024, they show 498,000 units. Hell, that might be, yeah, that's thousands of units. That's up 39,000 units in North America for this last year. That sounds great. That's pretty positive. Let's look at their forecast for 2025. Down 18,000 units from 2024. So Honda is predicting to be down 18,000 units from the previous year as well. This goes back to what I said. This is an industry problem, not a Harley-Davidson problem. When this financial report for Harley-Davidson came out, analysts, all they did was put out stories about how, sales predictions were going to be flat to down for 2024, how gloom and doom it was. Very few articles talked about the fact that retail sales were up, so stock took a dive. And a lot of people sold off, and the price went from around $40 to $33 overnight. It was the biggest sale in the last 6 months, according to the stock chart. And, well, in the last couple weeks, this has been almost a month, it's inched its way back up to 36 from 33. It's not back to the 40 level, but this is kind of average of where it's been over the last 6-12 months. It's not that bad. The real question is, how healthy is Harley-Davidson on a per unit sales? And they've been giving us the slide that shows unit profitability, and they're still at $3,700 of profitability per unit. Now that sounds pretty healthy to me compared to some previous years. So I'm not worried about Harley-Davidson, particularly as financial results. There's no sign that, they're going under or anything like that. It just means based on the economy, sales are down, and they're not just affecting Harley-Davidson. This is affecting Honda and Polaris as well. So that's my take on the financial update and what I'm seeing going on in the industry. For those of you that have gotten in the habit of, checking this out every quarter, this video is for you. For the rest of you, y'all stay tuned. We've got lots of content to get put out. I've been busy moving. We're in the new studio. So let me know what you guys think and what you want to see next. But I got some review on a road glide, some product reviews to do. I got to get off my butt and get some videos edited. We've got a lot of stuff shot. It's time to get that stuff out for you guys now that we're moved into the new digs. Y'all take care, stay safe, and we'll see you in the next one.